Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again today. I've got some huge, ginormous, humongous news about my campaign. But first, you know what to do. Go hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, do whatever you got to do to get this going. My name is Andrew Alvarez and I am the Latino Conservative. So what's this big news that I've been talking about and hyping up for the last couple days? My campaign for 2022 Congress, U.S. Congress, is coming to a stop. That's right. I'm going to go ahead and drop out of the 2022 U.S. Congress race, but doesn't mean I am stopping altogether. You see, I got with some advisors, and they suggested that I look at maybe something a little more local first. Congress is a big gig, and not that I doubt at all that I could handle it, because I know I could. There's been no one that can work harder for you. But one of the reasons why they suggested that I start local is so I can work my way up to U.S. Congress. I'm still going to run for Congress, U.S. Congress, just not right now in 2022. I'm going to be looking at a more local spot. It could be anything from city council, county commissioner. I've even had people tell me that even a state representative would be a good spot to start because the districts are smaller than the U.S. districts. I still get to do the same thing, which is work with legislation, and I get to start building my base in this area. So I'm thinking that county commissioner sounds really good. It starts you off. There's a lot of budget stuff that happens with the county commissioner, but at the same time, whenever I'm doing that, I get to, and I'm actually kind of forced to go to school and learn more stuff. I start learning processes. I have to go take 16 hours of college courses per 12 months. That's a big plus there. Not as much on the legislative side of it, but still, I get to go to school again full time. I get to actually get a degree, and I get to still work with budgeting. And there's also the city council side, which would be more almost voluntary basis, but I get to learn actual legislative practices because I'll be listening to city residents and listening to their concerns and voting on things that happen in the city. Yes, it's starting off small, but for me to get big, I've got to start small. It's kind of like the parable of the snowflake that I kind of coined way back when. All it takes is one snowflake that is well placed. When it falls, it lands and it gathers with one more snowflake. Pretty soon you got two more snowflakes, and they start to tumble down the mountain just a little bit. Then they gather more snowflakes, and they gather more snowflakes. Pretty soon those few snowflakes are a snowball rolling down the hill. And then eventually that snowball turns into this huge, giant avalanche that can decimate towns, that can decimate forests, that just has this huge destructive power. That's how I'm going to start with this. I got to start small. The car business. When I got into the car business, I knew nothing about it other than I saw a sign on a Honda dealership that said, "Now hiring." And I knew they had cars there. My first day there, I had no idea what I was doing. I was going in totally green. I didn't know what a Honda Accord was versus a Chevy Sonic. Two totally different vehicles. I didn't know what a Cross Tour was versus an M3. I had no idea. But I started learning. And now what I do is I travel nationally and I train car dealerships. I mean, go figure. I started off small, not knowing anything about the car business. And now I'm teaching people the car business, helping them use tools for the car business. So I'm really thinking something small and local. And my advisors that I have, they're agreeing with me. Plus the initial campaign is way smaller. The District 22 goes from around Katy area all around South Houston. Doesn't even really get into Houston, but it goes all around South Houston. That's Rosenberg, Rocheron, Richmond, Missouri City, Sugar Land, all the way over to like the Alvin area where I'm living now. Whereas county commissioner is just part of Brazoria County. Or I've got the city council, which is just strictly in Alvin. You know, I'm looking at small pieces there. I can start building my foundation there. And that's what I'm going to need to do. I need to build the foundation. I still need to listen to people. I'm still going to do everything I'm doing right now. This podcast that I have, the Latino Conservative, I'm still going to keep this going because I think people still need to hear what's going on in the world, not just from one side, but from a more conservative side. You see, the vast majority of media outlets out there are liberal. And you know what? I can't say that they're wrong. They just don't have my point of view. They don't have a lot of our point of view. So I'm going to keep this podcast going. I'm still going to have the Latino Conservative out there. And I really do hope that more people subscribe so I can get our voices out there. While I'm still working on these local campaigns, let me tell you a little bit about what I'm still doing. I've got 3 bills that I'm working on right now that are still on the federal level. One specific has to do with child support. I am not opposed at all to paying for it. I do want to pay for it. In fact, I kind of enjoy paying child support, even though it hurts sometimes. I do enjoy paying for it because I understand that my kids are being taken care of. But, and I think this has to be done on the federal level, I think parents who pay child support should be able to write at least a portion of it off as a tax deduction. And I say that because that's a big chunk of our check, 25% for me. I'm also working on a couple other ones, term limits, still working on that. I still think that has to happen. And I know a lot of you think that as well. And there's one or two out there other that I'm going to keep in my back pocket for now. You know, I don't need to be harassed again and have my bills put out before I'm able to put them out. So I'm not going to stop. Even if I don't win in 2022, which if it's a smaller campaign like that, I mean, there's not very many people that have the hustle that I have. I'm still going to keep going. And I'm still going to do everything possible to make sure everybody is heard, or as many people as I can get heard. Again, thank y'all for sticking with me this far. Any of y'all who have contributed all like $75 worth, I'm going to use that and it'll still go towards my campaign, or I'm going to donate it to a charity. One of the two. I'll let y'all know whatever it happens. Most likely it's still going to go to the campaign because I'm still going to need funds for that. Just nowhere near as much. I'm looking at going from about a $500,000 expenditure on a campaign. That's just me. That's not counting any super PACs on a big congressional campaign, to something maybe more like $5,000. Something more manageable for me too, because I don't have the backing to go out and spend that money. Heck, if I did, I wouldn't be making this video. I'd be out there and I would be running in 2020, not in 2022. So either way, again, thanks for everyone who's stuck with me. Keep on sticking with me. Stay here. I am not going anywhere. I'm just changing the race that I'm going to be running in. Slow and steady wins the race. My name is Andrew Alvarez, and I'm the Latino Conservative.